Welcome, I'm Leo, and this is where we take a whole stack of sources, articles, guides, research, and really just filter out all the noise for you.
Our goal is to get to the core of it so you can walk away feeling informed and, maybe more importantly, ready to act.
And today we are tackling something truly universal. It's that feeling, that constant pressure that time is just slipping away,
Yeah.
that you're always playing catch up.
Right, and that information overload is making it almost impossible to focus on what actually matters.
Exactly. So we took a pile of sources all about personal efficiency, learning, stopping procrastination. But the most interesting material, the core of our deep dive today, came from a slightly unexpected place.
Yeah, that's what's so fascinating. It wasn't some, corporate efficiency manual. It was actually from a guide built for high-level language learners.
People who have to maximize every single minute to reach fluency while juggling, busy lives.
And because of that, the advice is incredibly practical. It's rich with analogies that just click.
So our mission today is to pull out the 5 most powerful, most actionable strategies from this material, complete with the metaphors they use so you can apply them immediately, whether you're learning a new skill or just trying to get through your workday.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's unpack this.
So the central problem that all these sources kept coming back to isn't really a lack of time.
Right.
Almost everyone has these little pockets of time they're not using. The real problem is a lack of intentionality.
Intentionality, that's a great word for it.
Sure.
We confuse being busy with being productive, or, and this is a big one, we confuse just passively scrolling with actual rest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's define what we're talking about. What does wasting time actually mean?
I loved this. You're wasting time when you use it for something that's not important for your goals, not helpful for your growth, and not even necessary for your rest.
And the telltale sign, the universal indicator.
It's that feeling of regret after you're done, that heavy feeling.
And this is where they brought in this fantastic guiding analogy, the water metaphor.
This one really stuck with me.
Your time, your energy, your focus. It's like you have a bottle of water for the day. You only have a certain amount.
And if you just pour it on the floor, you can't drink it later. It's gone.
That is precisely what wasted time feels like. It's that feeling of emptiness. The guilt confirms that the water was just poured out.
It's so much more powerful than saying time is money. Pouring water on the floor, that captures the feeling of an hour of doom scrolling perfectly.
But there's an important distinction to make here. We have to be careful not to take it too far.
You mean, does it imply that any minute you're not working is wasted?
Exactly. If you intentionally decide to take a break, to watch a show, to call a friend, that is not pouring the water on the floor.
That's drinking the water.
That's drinking the water. Wasting it is when it happens by accident, without intent, and it leaves you with that feeling of regret.
So the antidote, the big idea here is intentionality. Doing things on purpose.
I have a perfect story for this, and this is where it gets really interesting for me. A while back, I was on a deadline feeling totally drained, and I said to myself, okay, I'll just take a 10-minute break.
The famous last words.
You know it. I sat down, opened my phone to check, one specific thing.
And the algorithm knew? It sensed weakness?
It absolutely did. When I finally looked up at the clock, an hour and 15 minutes, 75 minutes had just vanished. And the worst part wasn't even the lost time.
It was how you felt.
Yes. I felt heavy, guilty, and honestly more tired than when I started. It wasn't rest. My brain was just consumed.
That's the difference right there. You didn't drink the water to rehydrate for the next task. You just watched it soak into the carpet.
Exactly. So that's why we need actual strategies. Let's get into the 5 big ones they distilled, starting with number 1, make a tiny plan.
This one is so powerful psychologically. The reason we fail at big goals like, I'm going to get my life organized, is because they're just too big. They're too vague. And that vagueness is kind of a defense mechanism, isn't it? If the goal isn't clear, you can't really fail at it.
Precisely.
Yeah.
But a tiny plan forces you to be specific, and it dramatically lowers the bar to get started. The metaphor they use is the GPS analogy.
Right. A vague goal is like getting in your car with no destination. You just wander around, you burn fuel, your energy, and you get nowhere.
But a tiny plan is like putting a clear, simple address into your GPS, even if it's just a block away. The vague goal, I'll learn about finance, becomes, tonight at 8 p.m., I will read 2 pages of this book.
I think the key insight there, the thing for you to really grab onto, is that the tiny plan works because it slashes the psychological barrier to starting, what scientists call
Activation energy.
activation energy.
That's the mental friction you have to overcome to begin a task. If your plan is study for 1 hour, the friction is huge. If it's study for 10 minutes.
The friction almost disappears. It's actually easier to just do it than to argue with yourself about skipping it.
That's the goal. Make the promise so small you feel proud for keeping it, not afraid of breaking it.
I actually did this. I tried to learn a new skill, and I promised myself 1 hour every single day. I failed constantly, felt awful. But when I changed it to just 10 minutes, no matter what, I did it almost every day.
And I bet on some of those days you kept going past the 10 minutes.
A lot of them. The momentum was already there. So, okay, that's how you start. But where do you find the time? That brings us to tip number 2. Use your pocket time.
Ah, yes. The coin metaphor. This one is brilliant.
So good.
We all recognize the big coins, right?
Yeah.
The 2-hour block you set aside for deep work. But your day is also full of little coins. 5 minutes waiting for coffee, 7 minutes while your computer restarts.
And most of us just treat that as useless change. We throw it in the trash by, scrolling on our phones.
But the sources argue that if you collect those small coins, that pocket time, you can eventually buy something really big with them.
And it's not just about adding them up. It's about what you called cognitive stacking.
Cognitive stacking. You use those little moments for tiny specific tasks. Reviewing 3 flashcards, reading 1 paragraph. It stops huge tasks from building up and needing a giant block of time later.
I love the example they cited of the professional with 2 kids and a demanding job. She said, I never have a full hour, but I have a lot of small minutes.
And she used them.
Yeah.
5 minutes walking to her car, 10 minutes at lunch. And over time, those tiny, consistent efforts added up to a huge skill gain she never would have gotten if she'd waited for that perfect hour to appear.
Which it never does. Okay, on to tip number 3, make it fun. This sounds, it sounds a little simple.
It sounds simple, but it taps into something incredibly important. Intrinsic motivation.
Right.
If what you're doing feels like a punishment, or if your inner voice is just yelling at you about being perfect, your brain is literally wired to run away from it.
So the goal is to shift the experience from a high-stress chore to a low-stress game.
Exactly. Connect it to something you already enjoy. So if you love music, don't just study the topic. Find a song about it. Print the lyrics. Circle the key terms. Try to see how they're used in context.
You're enjoying the music and learning at the same time. Or, with TV shows, watching a short series on the topic. Start with subtitles on, then try with them off. Make it a little victory each time you understand something new.
The fun part is the built-in reward. And that's what creates long-term consistency. You stay with it longer because it doesn't feel like a waste of time. You're relaxing and growing simultaneously.
Okay, so we have a tiny plan. We're using our pocket time. We're making it fun. But now we have to deal with the enemy of all of this. Tip number 4, watch out for time thieves.
A time thief isn't just a distraction. It's something that steals your time and gives you nothing good in return. No growth, no rest, just exhaustion.
And the number 1 culprit is mindless scrolling. Social media, news feeds, we all know that horrible cycle.
Oh, yeah. You sit down and check just one thing. That leads to an article, which leads to the comment section, which leads to 3 more videos, and suddenly your brain is just full of noise.
And you didn't learn anything, you're not rested, you feel heavy.
That cycle drains your attention reserves. So the strategy here is all about boundaries, small, protective rules.
Like when you're going to work on your tiny plan, the phone doesn't just go on silent, it goes in another room.
Yes. Or you turn off notifications for just 1 hour. The analogy for this is perfect, the lock analogy.
Okay.
Protecting your focus is like locking your front door when you know a thief is outside. You don't have to hate the thief, it's just a piece of technology, but you have to protect your house, your focus.
I like that. By locking the door ahead of time, you're not constantly having to spend energy deciding whether or not to answer it.
That's the key. You reduce the cognitive load. Every notification you see and ignore still costs you a little bit of mental energy. Locking the door saves all of that.
Okay, but we've talked a lot about what not to do. If you follow all this, is the goal to just be working or studying every single minute? That sounds like a recipe for burnout.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
And that leads directly to the crucial final tip. Tip number 5, rest is not wasting time.
This one is so important, and the analogy is probably the most modern and useful one of all, the phone battery analogy.
It's perfect, isn't it? Your brain and your body are just like a phone battery. If you use it all day without ever stopping to charge it.
It doesn't just get slow, it dies. It stops working completely.
And rest, good sleep, quiet time, doing nothing. that is literally just charging your battery.
The sources had that great story of someone working for 2 hours late at night, totally exhausted, and producing terrible work.
And then the next morning, after a good night's sleep, they did the same task, but better, in just 30 minutes.
I know that feeling of trying to push through mental mud. It's the worst. So resting can actually be the smarter, more productive choice.
It is. So at the end of the day, it's all about balance. A good mix. Time for work, time for learning, time for fun, and dedicated time for rest.
So now that we have these 5 pillars, let's try to synthesize them, make sure they really stick. We've got the GPS, the coins, the game, the lock, and the phone battery.
Okay, let's turn these ideas into something you can do today, right now. We have a really simple 4-step action plan.
Perfect. What is it?
Okay, step 1. Choose one tiny goal for today. And be specific, not get better at my job, but I will read one page of that complex report.
One tiny, clear goal. Got it.
Step 2. Decide when you will do it. And the key is to use your pocket time. Commit to that 10-minute commute or the 5 minutes before a meeting.
So don't wait for a mythical free hour. Use the time you actually have.
Exactly. Step 3. Make it a little fun. If you can, connect it to something you enjoy, put on some music, turn it into a small challenge, anything to take the pressure off.
Okay. And step 4.
This one might be the most important for building momentum. After you finish your tiny plan, say something kind to yourself. Literally,
Yeah.
good job, I did my small plan.
So you're shifting that inner voice from a critic to a coach.
You're celebrating consistency, not demanding perfection, and that's what makes you want to show up again tomorrow.
That's brilliant. Okay, let's do a super quick recap of the 5 big ideas. 1, make a tiny win-pinced plan your GPS address. 2, use your pocket time, collect those small coins.
3, make it fun, turn it into a game. 4, watch for time thieves lock the door.
And 5, rest is not wasting time, it's charging your battery.
Your time is valuable. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be a little more intentional, a little more consistent.
You didn't waste your time listening to this, you invested it. So we'll leave you with one final thought to take with you, building on that idea of the time thief.
Think about this. What is the one-time thief that steals the most from you personally?
Mm-hmm.
And what is one simple physical lock, one small rule you could put in place this week to protect yourself and invest that time instead?
Just one small intentional rule. Think about what that could be for you.